What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord Dr. Professor Dark Joker here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are traditional fans with opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. One Piece episode 1138. So this one. So Kuma like protects Bonnie from Saturn, and then Sanji and Frankie get in the mix. Yeah, basically basically both Vegapunk and Saturn like what is Kuma doing here? Because they assumed he was dead. Like Vegapunk just tells her, look, he can only guess it's a father's love for his child, and so now then Borsalino gets back up and joins the fight. So, Luffy hasn't gotten back yet, so that's not happening yet because Luffy does get involved in this fight later, probably in later episodes. I don't know if it'd be next episode or one after, but Luffy will be back in this fight soon. But yeah, I thought this was a you know really good episode. I mean, the flashbacks. I was like, we just got flashbacks for this big flashback. We don't need to see it, but I get it. They're doing one chapter per episode because they freaking they're still doing the old way. They could have switched it. Like really, what they should have done is the One Piece that Netflix is doing with Wit. They could have worked some scheduling out with them. Like so instead of that Fishman Island flat like a bridge version we got, what they should have done is like instead of what they do is do like all that so basically, well, not necessarily a bridge, but just like adapt exactly what the manga does with the proper pacing that the manga has with what the do just do that. There take some hiatuses in the main stuff. Basically, you re-air basically like you like Dragon Ball Z Kaiden where they remastered it. Basically, use the same animation footage and just remaster it, touch it up some. And if there's any issues with voices, they deal with that, and then you get rid of a bunch of the filler. That's well, and also fix a censorship, actually have Zeph eat his leg instead of crush it with a rock. So you do some remastering. That's what they should have done, and that's what studios should do with their One Piece show. So they should have done it with Fit. So basically, you take some breaks, do that, and as long and that would have been and now East Blue would have been 3 cores. That would have been 3 cores worth of stuff they could have done. Which I mean, we would just gotten. We wouldn't be at the Kuma flashback yet. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fine episode. Looking forward to the next one. One Piece Chapter 1156. So in this one, this is continuing the whole big flashback that's expanded to more than just Loki and Herald, to including the Rocks Pirates, Roger Pirates, because so we start out with the give a brief overview of the Kuja Pirates from back then. So Gloriosa, who in the present time is Grandma Neon. Yeah, so this is obviously a while ago, so she was a lot younger and taller actually. So this is before she joins the Rocks Pirates. So yeah, and so Gloriosa, she was the captain and was the empress of Amazon Lily. So basically, sh- she was seen as one of the most attractive Kuja pirates, in that time period. Basically, yeah. But then like I guess the one that so there's like three future like so there's the current Empress Gloriosa and then two future ones Empresses. So you have Tritoma and then you have Shakuyaku. So Shakuyaku in the present time is Rayleigh's wife. She's the Empress like after Gloriosa. Then it looks like Tritoma is after that, after her. So there's a funny thing where like so basically Shakuyaku and Gloriosa have a bunch of fan mail. Shakuyaku's is bigger. So there's like the whole bit of like so like the Roger part. So basically Roger wants Shakuyaku because he's into Shakuyaku while Gloriosa is into Roger. Basically Shakuyaku basically doesn't want to like I guess belong to anyone. And basically I guess in the due to how Shakuyaku looks, no one can I guess can fight well. And then I guess Rayleigh's the only one who's acting rational ish. But then I guess Garp's like leak comes by, so like we see Garp and Roger fighting. Obviously, a lot younger. So yeah, so that bit was funny. So it was like at some point Shaka did become now how I don't know. Given Rox's you know reputation for using dayback game to like build up his crew, my guess is this is my assumption. He used the Davy back game to get Gloriosa to join his crew. That's my bet. And of course, both crews being pirates, they're bound by that code. So with Gloriosa being under you know, the Rocks pirates, that probably meant that Shakuyaku became Empress because of that. That's my guess. Yeah. And so we see where Harald returns to Elbaf. So basically, Loki had been trying to leave out the sea, but he got hurt. Basically, Ida's been trying to help take care of Loki, even though Loki doesn't want it, and Hodgdon doesn't want it. So Ida's trying to help, you know. And then basically, like, yeah, so we see, like, Loki, like, he hates, like, Elbaf. He's like, he calls everyone wimpy trash. He wants to be like Rox. So basically, every time Rox goes to Elbaf to try to invite Harald, Loki wants to join, but he's never able to. Then so Rox takes over Hachinosu. So Rox Pirates take over Hachinosu, and so by this point, Kaido and Big Mom have joined. Then Silver Axe Kyo is shown to join. Basically, he willingly joins. So and he's like the rival of Shiki. So yeah, and I guess we see like him opening. I guess his power. He just opened like holes. So that's why we have like the I guess the skull look of the mountain. It's like I guess a dumb thing. It's like, hey, why are there holes in the mountain? Some Silver X Kyo blew holes in it. Yeah. And so Zebek says that there's two pirates, well, two devil fruits he wants. One's most likely on Elbaf, and he wants Harald to eat it. And so yeah, so basically Captain John, who's there, mentions that basically that Zebek wants to find like it's Gal Galia, which he knows only by legend. Basically, that there's something with like the frozen giants, like so they're winners. So you have Strussen's course is part of it because he was like Big Bomb's like partner. So we see, Barbell, Kaido. Kaido says, he could that Zebek should just beat up Harald and force him to join. Zebek says no because Harald's his friend. He doesn't want to. He doesn't do that to his friend. And he basically, Elbaf is the key to taking on Mary Joa. And so looks like looks like Elbaf was involved with the it looks like based on that we're gonna see the God Valley incident. It was like we might see it because with how involved the Rocks pirates are, we might be seeing God Valley. I don't think anybody expected it to be seen this way, but yeah. So overall, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. News Exorcist, chapter 109. So in this one, Gakuro is fighting Suzaku, and then like while that's going on, we see some like moves of like brief points of their fight, and so yeah, then we get to like Suzaku's servants trying to kill people in the hotel, and all the women trying to fight them off, and then the other exorcists trying to help fight them. So Issue tries to convince some of the exorcists that, hey, she's there to help, and they need to get everyone to a teleportation room, whatever. Teleportation circle. Basically, some of the exorcists who have not met her before are hesitant because she is a spirit, but, basically, like, when she fights off when Issue fights off her own instructor, Corey, basically they convince her, like, while she's using this attack, she summons like a giant golem-esque thing made out of like thread, whatever. Basically, people cheering for her like gives her energy, so she like fights off Corey's golem and defeats it, which like I guess allows people to I guess get to the teleportation circle, get out. So yeah, overall I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Elusive Samurai chapter 213. So in this one, Takaji kills Tadayoshi. Like he finally does it. Finally does it. Like Tadayoshi just accepts it. And I guess like Takashi like pours like divine energy into him and I guess blows his brains out. So yeah, but then like Takashi, who had basically never gotten sick before, due to basically being possessed by some deity, starts getting sick, and like all his allies who he had killed, like basically like basically like all the I guess the combined trauma of it all, and then yeah, basically affected him, made him sick, and so the deity is just really pissed off. So Tokiyuki, since Suzuku had anticipated that, like basically Tokiyuki raised up forces in order to help challenge Takaji, and like the gods like trying to leave. So yeah, so overall I really like this chapter. Looks like we're about to reach the end game of this series. Yeah, I like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kagurabachi Chapter 89. So when this one, basically like there's like some overview talking about like this character named Misaka. Basically, he's like a really good, like basically he was ambushed around the same time as Kunishige Rokuhira. Basically, like the Misaka was killed, and like the assassin was very similar to Rokuhira. So like basically, it's possible of it being like a puppet controlled by sorcery. Yeah. So then basically what happened here is that we see some like this character named Hokuto and Azami. So basically, it looks like the armored guy was defeated. So yeah, we see some of the other like characters. Like we see like looks like some other characters being shown. Yeah. So it looks yeah, so we see all that and then seems like Miska was not as good as he was when he was killed. So there's like a lot about what's going on. And then basically Hokuto is told that this character named Aruha is alive. And basically basically inside HQ, so then we get into like, the Kaminabi headquarters. Then basically, yeah, so we see this one character being shown, like, I guess when this Seitei War began, like, you know, like, so I guess this guy's brother was the wielder of the Cloud Gouger Enchanted Blade. I guess before it was taken by the Hishaku. Then Uruha was given a sword that was not part of Sanuchi. Then, yeah, so basically, so the Hishaku had killed, it was like this guy's Misaka's brother. So Misaka was killed. He was killed by the Hishaku. Then, yeah, so basically the brother, so Natsuki, which is this guy's name, he basically had been trained for a while with the sword, and basically they were intruders, so he's ready to, so Natsuki Misaka, that's this guy's name, basically he's ready to fight the Hishaku to like avenge his brother. So yeah, overall, really like this chapter, like what they're setting up with some of the new characters. Yeah, interested to the next one. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi Chapter 55. So in this one, so we see Kiyoshi and Asuna Ross fight, you know, going, they're both doing big attacks. And basically while it's going, Asuna Roth is like remembering, I guess, someone he knew named Solomon, I guess, who he could fight, like who was also very powerful. I don't know if that was a human or something. Now in the beginning, so we see like the demon who like Kiyoshi had fought the first chapter, like cheering on Kiyoshi, worried about him. And the guy's wife is like, "Hey, do you think someone like that Mason will remember you?" He sit down. So yeah, so back to the fight. So basically, we saw this big fight. Sudaroth is saying he's like in love with Kiyoshi. It's a very twisted kind of love. Yeah, so basically, he feels most alive when he's able to fight someone to the full extent of his power. So I guess he was. I guess this Solomon. I don't know if Solomon was whoever this guy is was killed. Like I'm assuming he's dead. But I don't know like if Suroth killed him and basically he hasn't found anyone to fight since then, or if he died something else and they weren't able. He wasn't satisfied with the fight's ending or something. Who knows? That looks like that could be explained soon. But yeah, so the visuals for this fight were great. Like they're both doing heavy damage to each other. So yeah, so I thought this was a really good chapter. Now I'm looking forward to the next one. Ichi the Witch, chapter 45. So in this one, this is predominantly focused on Spica, Kabuki's sister. Basically, she arrives thinking about like, she wants to be the next like captain to be promoted to full-fledged witch, and that some people are not happy that there's a male witch and that the guy's going straight to witch instead of going through the full process. But Spica is like thinking about how to use this help herself, like since Kamugi's like part of like Ichi's like team. Basically, she can like I guess be able to befriend Ichi, become close to him in order to like use his like notoriety to further her own career and possibly like marry him, get him into the family to help the her family basically gain more influence within the world of witches. So yeah, and basically speakers, I guess, surrounded by a bunch of idiots. Basically, I guess all like her fan club, I guess they're all freaking retards or something. Like as Spica puts it in her mind, those silly little girls don't have a single brain cell bouncing around in their silly little skulls. So some witches there want to protest the association's decision to have a male witch, even though no, they're not the ones who forced the male to acquire one of the magics. Ichi did that on his own. So yeah, basically, Spica I guess doesn't like a lot of the ones who are official witches, but like yeah. So looks like so basically Spica is looking for, and but then she since it's like the Ichi's from the woods, he's like a country bumpkin, as they say, as a lot of people would say. She's like, and who doesn't like, and who lacks manners. She's like, yeah, probably marrying him would be a bad idea. Just because they'll do some digging on the guy. But then once they announce like and she considers her sister Kamugi the best stepping stone. So she's a very selfish prick. Then she sees the team getting out. So Kamugi, Descaras, and then Ichi. And what's funny is well, and Gokuraku being part of the team as well. So then, what's actually funny is like Spica, like so you some of the other witches are like they're some of them are commenting on how like some of them look. Then Spica's thinking in her head that she really wants Ichi now. Like basically guess how he looks while standing up there, I guess with good manners. Now what's gonna be really funny is like basically they try to just force like freeze his face to make it look like he has manners or something. I would not be surprised if Discars did something like that. But basically, basically, Spica is now very much wants Ichi right now. So I guess that's gonna be a thing they're saying up. I don't know. I think there could be some good humor to come from this. Hopefully, it doesn't go on and on like News Exorcist did with all that. But yeah, overall, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Nice Prison, Chapter 15. So in this one, Kasan's returned in like human form to help Mitsubishi fight Nizana. And Kasan had brought Nizana's mother, who like starts asking, "Hey, where you been? Why'd you take our family business?" Basically, you see like Nizana and her mother arguing. Basically, make so like a lot of the guards, or whatever, are gonna like basically their brainwash or whatever like goes away a little bit, so they kind of leave. Now Nizana, now Kasan's still like a like a ball and chain like guy, and then Tara's just weirded out by everything. So now the mother was to protect Nizana. Basically, she knows that Nizana likes some dude. Now she doesn't know who it is. She doesn't know that it's the super death row prisoner. And then basically Tara wants the ghost of her father back. So then we see Nizana start using I guess poison arrows and all. Like basically, I guess the whole family's weapons merchants. So I guess her real name is Chiyoko Beppu. Then so it's a poison arrow. So yeah. Then yeah. So then the mother like kisses a dark row prisoner like with poison. So basic then I guess dark chain ball like lady like does the antidote kiss. So basically like you have the yeah So Dark Maul prisoners occupied by the Ando and poison stuff. Then not Nizana makes a poison guillotine. I don't know what's the point of that. And then pulls out a poison pistol, points it at Terra. Then Mitsubishi asked why did she fall for the Super Death Throne prisoner. And then basically Nizana said she wanted to take over the family business. But then, and she was wandering streets, and basically Super Death Row prisoner extended her a hand in the outside world. So it seems like he escaped, and basically he offered for her to go to his prison, and then basically Miss was like, "What do you mean my prison?" And he's like, "You're wrong." And then Kason melts back into a ball of chain. Basically, Azana says she wants to support the man she loves. Then Mitsubishi says if the man she loves is making a mistake, then she should correct it. And basically, so Mitsubishi has made Nizana's heart flutter. So he's the second man to do that. First one being his father. Yeah, that's weird. So I'm guessing that might set up some stuff for next chapter. I mean, yeah, I don't know how long this series will go, but we might be at the end or something close to it. So I don't see this being like a really long series. But overall, really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Odor of the Flame, chapter 13. So in this one, 610's arrived and just totally wrecked Calerio. And then so basically, Calerio who gets injured, retreats. And yeah. So basically Calerio says she's gonna destroy the Heart Forge, so she uses like this soul fire death ball thing to try and destroy it. And then, basically a monster under Calerio's control is going to do self-sacrificing to destroy the whole area. And then Laura's pissed off about her sacrificing Ally, so Calerio like leaves. Then yeah, so Sixten says he'll take care of it, but then Sorrel says he'll do it. And then, he's basically about to die anyway. He's like basically as a respect to Odor, he'll like freeze the heart force to keep it from exploding. Basically, Sorrel said like Sorrel's asked why he'll go this far. Sorrel says when he was cut down, he was frustrated, but not because he lost, because he won't be able to fight Odor again. Because basically, in a lot of fights, the loser dies, but the winner goes on and tells stories in respect of whoever they defeated. And he asks Odor to pass on his tale in his own heroic saga. So, like, the Iron Spirit's inside is Ignat. And then, basically so the dwarf says that she doesn't feel sorry for Sorrel. Basically, Sorrel's like it's war. He's not gonna ask for He's like I'm not gonna ask for forgiveness. Then he like freezes the thing, freezes the heart forge, and then Odor says he won't forgive him. So Sorrel's dead. So then when so then this guy named Lunar Halo like I guess arrives who had cleaned up the surface. So basically, so this they call it Lunar Hero arrives, and then like this other guy's on the surface trying to do stuff, and then Odor asks who he is, and the guy introduces him as Hugin the Wise, servant of the king. So that's supposed to leave, I guess, like the king's gonna get involved pretty soon. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Sorrel was awesome. Harukaze Mound Chapter 8. So in this one, Nagiharu's going against Ataru again for the fourth at bat, basically. So, obviously Nagiharu's team's up 2-1. So if Ataru scores, which is very possible, they can basically Station could tie it. And then, basically so it gets so basically, there's a foul starts off foul ball, then you have two balls, so it's 2-1 count, then near the end, basically, Nagaru does this like weird pitch that tricks Ataru, and he gets a swing and miss for strike two. So the chapter, it's like a rising slider. So with that, basically it's a 2-2 count. So the next pitch starts, but we don't see what happens. So it's like next chapter, we'll see like whether that's going to be a strikeout, a hit, foul ball, another ball. Who knows? Looks like the at bat will end next chapter. Overall, really like this chapter. Liked how they were handling the highly tense at bat. Like this one. Looking forward to the next one. Ekiden Brothers, Chapter 6. So in this one, so practice ends. So everyone starts moving into the dorms. So Nobu's dorm, I guess, is an old inn, like a very traditional Japanese inn. So then, Nobu, his roommates meet the manager who's showing around. Like the manager's name is Rinrin, who I guess they all the men call a Gyoru, which is like I think that's some like fashion trend or whatever. And then so she wants to get the tour done quickly because someone, I guess she follows started doing Instagram live thing. Yeah, whatever. And then so they assume she's a pro, but she shows in the bath with some guys bathing in the dining hall. I guess she keeps disturbing in the dorm room. So everyone's like, "Are we gonna use a professional?" Or they're wondering if she's a professional. But when she starts checking the equipment, she's like, "Oh yeah, she's a pro." So she gives them their room numbers and all that. So basically everyone's paired with the upperclassmen, and Nobu's paired with with Captain Matoi. So the team captain. So the coach, whose name is Dozan Himejima, is he says he was doing some scouting. He was making offerings at shrines, give some people some souvenirs. Basically, so track season is going to start in March, but there's a schedule. So the Oga Egerton is June 27th. Basically, freshmen always go to that, and then the top two runners from the first practice race will run the Oga, and basically this year in Oga they'll be going against Seitoku, who doesn't usually go to Oga. So basically everyone learns that they're going. Get Nobu's like, oh crap, I'm going against Seitoku already. So yeah, basically, he said so the coach says that he wants to win the Hakone for once. And basically, he's been waiting for Matoi's class to get their senior year, and with them on the team, with everyone else, they'll basically Odenese at the strongest, and so Oga will be the first race with them. Basically says he wants to make it their springboard for victory at Hakone. So Nobu's excited for it, and then with Toy says he wants to beat Seitoku. Then he tells Nobu to do little run, I guess, at night. And Matoi's acting really weird, and he's like says, good runner, but you don't you lack pressure. And he's like, if you want to beat Satoki, you have to fight for real. And he says, long distance running, breaks your mind. So we see like it's like he has an aura surrounding him, like you see with like Blue Lock and Initial D, you know, was like surrounding him. So yeah, overall, like this chapter, look like what they're doing with Patoy. And I'm looking forward to the next chapter. Ping-Pong Peril, Chapter 5. So this one, Tyra is continuing his match. Basically, he learns that the lady running the public bath, basically tried to engineer some things for his favor, like for her favor. Basically, it's like very dangerous. Some old dude almost died from like a electric bath or something, from like a bunch of volts. So like electric shower, or whatever. So like basically, yeah. So you know, it's basically, and Tyra's trying to hide the whole thing. Everything's going on from Momo, who is suspecting that he's into something dangerous, doesn't know what it is. And basically the whole like bat theory is like it's almost like a evil science experiment by the manager. So who's like trying to use the terrain in her favor. And then basically there's a whole electric bath thing that he gets shocked by. It's like 1 million volts. So yeah. So then what happens? So like the surface of the bucket is melting. Like, and he's in pain. So basically he realizes, oh, if a competitor is unable to compete, they lose. So he decides to find a way to knock the lady out using the electric bath. Like he uses the water on the ball. He gets the ball through the water, has it hit her, and she like gets shocked. And so basically the way he could win without going to 11. So yeah. So it's like it's gonna be like a very painful game. Overall, really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Apocalypse Bringer Mynoghra Episode 5. So in this one, the knights who are still alive, you know, basically the ones who Atal did not kill, basically they fight her off. They try to fight her. Verdal and Lonius cut off her dark tentacles. And like so, Atal takes two soldiers hostages, basically in order to get them to stop fighting. So, but Verdal and Lonius kill their allies in order to try to finish her off. But Atal regenerates and kills Verdal. Lonius tries to fight alone while everyone else flees. And Lonius is defeated, and the Dark Elves kill the other knights. Atal interrogates Lonius about basically everyone he cares about, and then kills him. So she gains like the memories and abilities of like those she kills. So that gives her a bunch of intel about the world. So Takuto learns that the whole world's not necessarily the same as the game. So they use memories to like they learn that there's some witch named Arakino who caused some disturbance in Qualia, and they suspect she's possibly another reincarnated person. Takuto decides to not confront her, and he wants to form an alliance with the country east of Mynoghra, with where the war's going on. So yeah, so obviously that's setting up, I guess future stories like how Mynoghra is going to interact with the world. So we should start seeing a lot of world building and a lot more of the characters. So yeah, overall, really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Gachiakuta episode 4. So in this one, Engine takes Rudo to the cleaners headquarters So Rudo doesn't meet the boss, like the boss, like I don't know, is elsewhere or something. But and then basically, obviously, Rudo's met Rio and Zanku. So, and basically, there's like a room where some of the other, like so, yeah, Zanka and Rio he's met, but he hasn't met like the rest. But there's a bunch of this room, so and there's a lot of people there, so maybe not now. But he takes Rudo to the receptionist. Basically, she like looks at him, uses her vital instrument to like you know I guess gauge his abilities or something. Then Rio takes since basically until the boss is back, Rio can't be officially like introduced like inducted into the cleaners. So yeah. So basically it's explained so a lot of the major ones they're givers, so they're the ones who are able to like use vital instruments while you have like the supporters who can't use vital instruments, they don't have that power. So they're like the non-power who help out, provide some work, carry some stuff. So you have like, Grisha, Follow, and well, as far as I'll just say, as far as those goes, at this point in time, none of them are givers. I'm not gonna spoil one thing regarding one character, but no. But basically, this is like starting to like introduce a lot of stuff with the cleaners. So we're still in the big intro phase of everything, where a lot of the characters are gonna be introduced. So Rudo helps fight off this trash beast, and then basically yeah, so we're starting to see some of the characters a little more, and I've read a lot of the manga. I can tell you it's gonna get insane this season. Like, and if we get more after that, oh, it's gonna get really insane. Overall, so yeah, Simu, the receptionist, yeah, she's able to like use her vile instrument to like observe Rudo, and then we see everything. But yeah, dude, and there's a whole bit how she has like dirty magazines at her desk. Yeah, you could tell this is definitely a desolate world. The only porn available is magazines. So like they don't obviously you don't necessarily have the internet and all that. At least not on the ground. Maybe in the sphere. I don't know about in the sphere, but like so yeah, so basically the person like I guess keeps a stash of porn at her Simu keeps a stash of porn at her desk. Yeah, generally that would not be allowed in the workplace, but nor should it be allowed. But I guess given the state of affairs, they're like, screw it, we don't care. But yeah, overall, I really like this episode. This is about when things are going to really start getting good, when a lot of fighting starts. Like, yeah, so overall, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Uglymug Epicfighter Episode 5. So in this one, Seika, using her angel form, heals Rhea's arm, basically like restores the arm, and then so I guess Seika starts crying, and Rhea says that Seika's crying face looks ugly, so she's no longer a target. Basically, used as an excuse to leave. And Shigeru like encourages Seika, and like basically he uses something to seal Rhea's sight, so she went uncontrollably kill a bunch of girls. Yeah, and then so Shigeru's plans were really like he wants to make Seiji a king, and well, so that people like Seika can live in peace. And now, but they're in the whole party's next little adventure. So Seiji like goes like his Aldine form, as he calls it. I guess Shigeru and Seiji are the ones who know about it. And like basically it's supposed to be like a superhero thing where it's like well, it's like it's like a secret identity for him. Yeah, and apparently it's a very specific and long, like thought out, like special notes that Reed's had seen, so Reed's is like, ugh. She doesn't know how to explain it. She doesn't necessarily understand it all. There's this whole bit, you know. So overall, I like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Hotel Inhumans episode 5. So in this one, while Ikaro and Sarah are cleaning weapons, Ikaro, who had been at the job for about a year, is considering quitting because he doesn't like the whole assassin stuff. Now Sarah tells him not to. So the two of them greet this couple named Iori Hasagawa and Rika Sakai. Basically, they received some invitation that was blank, but Sarah used the Kale slang to make the text readable. Basically, those are so these two characters are like the two guests that are not assassins, so they're just regular people. Ikaru's question asked them about the invitation. Basically, revealed Iori lost his memory in some accident while protecting Rika, and that they think the invitation was given by some friend of theirs. So a doctor who's there offers to help and keeps offering both of them like basically a form to like allow if they die, allow him to do an autopsy on them. He apparently does that to everyone. Ikro basically says he'll try to handle it. So Iori tells Ikro that he doesn't want to regain his memories because he's concerned that like Rika would leave him. Ikro tells him not that's not the case, and then so and that's after like there's this whole thing they're doing like what type of clothes they're wearing, what type of tour of the what areas they go to in the hotel, what they eat. So then Sarah attacks Iori and gets him to remember his old. It's revealed that Iori is an assassin who was hired to kill Rika by someone who hated her Rika's father. Like one basically like wanted Rika to die when when she's the happiest. Basically, so 6 years before Iori was given it, so his idea was basically lose his memories in an accident, stay with Rika for 6 years while she's happiest, and then kill her when he regains his memories. And that he's the one who sent the invitation. But he had bonded with Rika in that time, so not able to like live with either one of the options. Having memorized it, he decides to kill himself. But Ikuro stops him, and he hits his Ikuro. So he falls, but then like Iori like hits his head and loses memories again, and doesn't remember the whole conversation on the roof. So Iori, when he wakes up, decides to not get his memories back. Tells Rika he doesn't want to get his memories. He just wants to spend life with Rika, and he proposes to Rika, and I guess like Rika says yes. Sarah asks Ikuro why he stopped Iori, and Ikuro says basically Iori didn't want to die. So Sarah, who held it, was holding a knife to Iori's neck without Ikuro noting. So convinces him to not quit because I guess how Ikuro's personality, there's ways that like he can serve as a concierge there through like his like more kind personality. Yeah, so overall, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Dekin no Mogura, the Earthbound Mole, episode 5. So in this one, Magi's brother, Umeharu, um, basically has like is friends with this girl. Well, very close friends with the girl. Well, actually, with a lot of women, but you know. So basically, this girl named Mia who like let's just say they exchange like weird text and stuff and pictures. Yeah. So all Umeharu cares about is that hey, he just cares about tits. He doesn't care about anything else. So when he sees yeah, when he sees like yeah, he's like okay. yeah, it's kind of stupid. But then basically what happens is there's this whole deal with the with like I guess with this doll who like so Umeharu sees this spirit of a girl similar to a picture that was in the house. And when he explains the whole thing, then he calls Mia, ask about it. It's revealed that it's like it's basically a spirit of Mia's sister Maya, who died in an accident. Basically, Mia has this whole like complex, inferior complex because so the uncle of Fiora said why it had to be the cute sister. So I guess a lot of people thought, basically the way Maya would, I guess, look better than Mia if she had grown up. I guess I gave Mia a complex, like an inferiority complex. Then so the uncle's sick. So it's real the uncle's sick because Maya kept trying to attack the uncle for making Mia feel bad about her looks. And like basically she starts turning like I guess some evil spirit, starts trying to like literally able to physically hurt the uncle and try to kill him. So everyone else is then trying to rush to the hospital. So yeah, overall I thought it was a decent episode. Definitely weird with the pictures. It was definitely a little weird. But dude, the whole bit of like Umaru seeing Yay and just saying nice and small, it's like the whole joke is that, Yay's flat chested. That's the whole joke of it. I thought it was funny and yeah, so I thought it was a decent episode. Looking forward to the next one. Spy Family Chapter 120.1. So this is like a very like short one. This is like like a side chapter. So basically Bond sees something with like blood type. I guess people with blood type A have like good outlook. Blood type B, it's bad. And Bond thinks since his name starts with the letter B that he has blood type B. Yeah, that's not the case, but I don't know what his blood type actually is. So Bond is concerned and he's trying to trigger a premonition to confirm whether or not it's true because he thinks his blood type is B. So and then he says like so he's concerned. So he gets like this collar that you're bought for Bond that has like spikes on it. So I guess as protection. Lloyd doesn't understand why. And like so he's like concerned. Like so he sees like he wants his paws painted like white and he asks for but the dog's like what? Lloyd's like sorry. And then basically Lloyd's wondering if his react behaviors because he was a subject of Project Apple. I mean, I guess the handler also has some also has a dog with erratic issues because she also has a dog from Project Apple. So yeah, so Bond's trying to see the future, and basically like you know, so basically handler how she does it, she just makes something nice for the dog, and the dog calms down. So Bond sees a premonition that shows I guess Lloyd doing the same thing for him, and it's really good food. And if Anya, so yours like good for you, and Anya's like, wait, well I'll get any. And then Bond tries to like I guess cuddle up to Lloyd. Lloyd's like stop, the spikes hurt. And then basically seems like it was a good day. So it ends like with Anya watching TV, falling asleep. So yeah, I thought it was a funny chapter. It's just Bond being Bond. It's just a man and his dog. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Blue Exorcist, chapter 160. So in this one, Lightning and Suguro are fighting. Basically, Suguro's trying to stop him from killing like Arthur. Basically, from trying to kill, like basically he wants to like stop from making bad. And Suguro gets injured really badly as a result of that. Now, so then we see, Kokomaru and, basically like arrives there. Then basically like, now there's some issue with like the artwork. Like, so it looks like, I don't know what happened, but it looks like, I guess they didn't finish some of the illustrations. So some of the drawings look very rough for whatever reason, some of the pages. So yeah, so basically, so Lightning tells like to so yeah, so Lightning then leaves to stop to keep Arthur and Lucifer away from each other. Then so yeah, so Renzo, Kokomaru are trying to like say Konekomaru. He basically tells him, so Suguro tells him that he's happy that the three of them are back together as friends and all that. And he passes out. Basically, Konekomaru says they need to get back to Impera, but then you know Renzo says he needs to do some spy stuff while the rest of them go. So while Konekomaru gets Suguro out of there, so then he like Renzo confronts Toto. Then looks like they're about to fight. There's a fight between Toto and Renzo, so I don't know what's the deal with that. So yeah, so that should be interesting. Of course, you have what's going on with Arthur and Lucifer. So overall, I like this chapter. It is hard to keep up with Blue Extra sometimes because since it's monthly, it is hard to remember what the frick's going on in all this. It is hard to remember sometimes with it being monthly. Just due to how this is style, when you have this whole serialized style with how serialized as it is, like it is very hard to remember sometimes what the frick's going on. So yeah, but overall, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.